In this video, we will be showing you how we were able to find out who the kids are in this completely random picture that was found in the back of an antique mall in Virginia, and how we were able to learn what kind of lives they led. Let's dive in. I'm Alicia from Forgotten Lines, and my husband James here is a genealogist who loves investigating abandoned tombstones and pictures. But he can't talk right now because he lost his voice. So things have been a little more peaceful around here today. So I'll be reading the script. This picture was sent to us from a friend of a friend who got it from a booth in the very back of an antique mall in Roanoke, Virginia. Two cute kids from 100 years ago, and appear to be brother and sister. She heard that we were getting content together to start a channel about this and asked if we could find out who these kids grew up to be and what happened to them. So we looked at the picture and our first thought was there's no way. There was only one last name on the postcard, but we thought we'll give it a shot. Something might not happen. But this turned out to be one of our luckiest breaks we've ever had in picture research. So first things first, plug in what we can into a genealogy website. Family search can work pretty well and it's free, but today we're using Ancestry. Based on clothing and hairstyle, we guessed it would be around the early 1900s. And there was one word on the back, and it was the German surname Obenschien. Here we have Violet Irma Obenschien. She looks a lot like the little girl in our photo. Here she is in Jefferson High School, Roanoke, Virginia. She's in the same county. That's a good sign. Now let's search her name, date of birth, and location. Here is a picture of her gravesite, and we click on the icon showing a profile she's linked to. We can see that there are pictures attached to her mom, and her mom has a group photo. A named group photo. And look who just happens to be sitting in the front row. Russell and Thelma Obenschien. Two little kids that look an awful lot like our mystery kids. Let's compare them a little closer. So here we can see the jacket looks very similar, a dark color. The lapels are the same cut.
Even the
buttons are all the same color. Pleated skirt. You can see the pleated skirt. The only difference would be her hair.
Like pulled back straight back.
Yeah.
Same legs.
Mm-hmm.
Going into the puffy britches.
A dark colored belt. The only thing that doesn't really show up in the picture on the left is it's like stitched like a darker color around the edge of the collar. Looking at it closer.
I mean, over here the bangs
are
straight.
Just a little wind blown on the left side. That's what you look like after a full day at a family reunion. It looks like a family reunion, and our picture was taken separately from the crowd. I would imagine that many other pictures were taken that day that looked a lot like this. Let us know what you think. If you disagree, leave a comment. But these kids are even wearing the same clothes. It doesn't get much better than this. When you find a named group family photo and they're wearing the same clothes and it looks like it could even be the same day, then you're on the right track. So now that we have their names, Thelma and Russell, we can get their story. Russell's story is a tragic one. And it's one of the main reasons we started this channel. But I'd like to talk about Thelma first. I'll come back to Russell in just a little bit. Thelma Obenschien was born in 1906 to Clark and Pearl. In 1920, she's 13, and her father's occupation is gang leader for the railroad, which is basically a foreman on track maintenance. Remember the first picture we found of Violet Irma Obenschien that looks so much like the girl in our picture? Well, look who is on the 1920 census with Thelma as a sister. Violet E. Obenschien. No wonder they look so alike. Something important to keep in mind when researching genealogy and family stuff is to not get hung up on single letter differences. Oftentimes, census or record takers didn't ask for correct spelling and wrote what they wanted. Our last name has like 200 variations. In this case, Violet's middle initial E on a census and I in her yearbook. Both letters can do the same sound, so with the rest of the evidence, I'd say it's safe to call it. The 1922 Roanoke City Directory has the Ovensheen family listed at 714 Loudon Avenue Northwest. Let's see if the house is still there. After putting the address in Google and going to Street View, we can see nothing. House is gone. But you can still see a driveway that probably led to it. In 1930, she's married to Henry Fry, who is also a railroadman. His occupation is brakeman in the steam railroad industry. These guys worked on the caboose and did more than just pull brake levers. They stayed busy coupling and uncoupling cars during switching.
And I've read several articles of men losing legs and arms doing this. It was incredibly dangerous.
It makes you wonder if Thelma met Harry through her father's work on the railroad. In 1940, Thelma and Harry have 4 sons, and Harry has switched careers to the rayon factory in Waynesboro, Virginia, which was most likely the DuPont plant. In 1950, Thelma and Harry haven't moved, and Harry is working maintenance down at the rayon factory. 1950 is the last publicly available census. They released 72 years after the decade, so in 2032, we'll have 1960 available. Wow, okay, didn't know that.
As a side note, I remember waking up every morning just waiting for the digitized process of the 1950 census to happen.
Nerd.
Because it was humans had to type it in. They had to scan it. They had thousands of volunteers, page by page, scanning it in.
Wow.
And every day I kept refreshing, waiting for more pages to come.
Who were you looking for?
I don't remember, but I couldn't wait. Remember that.
Sadly, Harry would die in 1959. His death certificate confirms the theory that he worked for DuPont. Cause of death is listed as gastrointestinal hemorrhage due to chronic alcoholism. I'm sure this was a very difficult time for Thelma. She would go to work at Rose's department store until she retired and passed away in 1985. I'm sure Thelma's life was filled with happiness and lots of great memories. I highly doubt she's anywhere close to forgotten among her kids, grandkids, and so on. Now I'd like to bring you back to Russell, her little brother with the perfect hair. Russell Ovensheen was born in 1909 and can be found with the family on the 1910 census, but is missing from the 1920 census. This is because Russell tragically drowned while playing with his friend in Tinker Creek. The boys were playing on the bank when the ground gave out and they slid into the water. His friend, Virgil Lehman, who was only 4 years old at the time, was able to pull himself out and run for help. By the time the adults had gotten to Russell, it was too late. He is buried at Mill Creek Baptist Cemetery in Troutville, Virginia. There's no picture of a stone on Find a Grave, so I'm sorry I can't pull that up to show you. Maybe a volunteer around there will upload one in the near future. Okay.
That was tough, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That part sucked.
Yep. Russell is the exact kind of story that inspired the concept of Forgotten Lines. Children, adults, unknowns, people who we find staring back at us in faded photos and have nobody telling their story anymore. That's what we aim to do so their story doesn't fade yet. We got a lot of comments asking if we tried to get the photos back into the hands of living descendants. And the answer is yes. We do keep that part of the process private and leave it up to the family. But who knows? Maybe one day someone will want to come on and share their memories of the person we're talking about. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please like and subscribe.
Thanks for watching.